Aubrey Sampson and Brian Fromm, hosts of The Common Good on AM 1160, and we're grateful that during the last month we've been able to share with you this year's Lift 2021 virtual presentations on the topic of mental health and wellness for pastors and church leaders, presented by Hopeful Beginnings.
If you've missed any of these presentations, you can see all of them at 1160hope.com/lift. And we're thankful to the supporting sponsors who made this series possible: Lydia Home, MyPillow, and Moody Theological Seminary.
This week, we're excited to hear from Joanne Bratta, the Executive Director of Hopeful Beginnings, a wonderful organization that provides a variety of maternity services to expectant mothers, as well as adoption services for families interested in adoption. Joanne is a registered nurse with decades of experience in caring for and counseling young women.
We're glad that we can share this message with you from Joanne Bratta as part of Lift 2021.
My name is Joanne Bratta, and I'm the Executive Director of Hopeful Beginnings, which is located in Palatine. I'm a nurse, teacher, and counselor by profession. We're an Illinois licensed child welfare agency providing adoption services and a social service agency offering free counseling to women with issues surrounding pregnancy and parenting. We're available to serve the entire Chicagoland area, outlying suburbs, and in fact, all of Illinois. We have free counseling services virtually, eliminating any barriers like transportation or health issues. If a woman has a cell phone, we can counsel. So we're so happy this year that AM 1160 is concentrating on mental health services after the pandemic. I know our numbers are still skyrocketing because the isolation and barriers in receiving services. We do free counseling for unplanned pregnancies, also postpartum depression and anxiety, pregnancy, anxiety, and depression, grief over a lost pregnancy, transition to motherhood. We do case management, and we even have a small baby closet. We're available to help you and your congregation. All you have to do is say the word. For many leaders, the mental and emotional health of your congregations have been affected. As women are our specialty, we're finding that they're struggling with anxiety, depression, loneliness, anger, and fear. You're in a prime position to help and provide resources for these women. I'm truly grateful that you are there for them because you listen and you can refer to Hopeful Beginnings so that those women could start the healing process from the inside out. The first step is open communication with your people, which I know that you have. They have deep respect for who you are and your position. When I get out into the communities, I always hear people say, my pastor, my minister, I just love them because they actually take the time to listen to me. You're the first line of help, trust, and are close to God. If you believe in mental health services, so will they. Can we help you? Help them, and you refer them. We have a long history, 135 years in Chicago, of identifying problems in the community and then providing free services to meet that need. In fact, our agency was founded by a group of faith-filled, strong women who dedicated their lives to serving God and His people. That group of women was called the Sisters of St. Mary's. They're Episcopally based, who dedicated their lives to serving women and children. They started out as caring for women and children who were down on their luck and they had nowhere to go. In the late 1800s, divorce was uncommon, and living with an alcoholic or an abusive husband was something that a woman had to tolerate. St. Mary's was a respite for women facing those harsh issues with no roof over their heads, no skills to prepare them to join the workforce in Chicago. As cooking and sewing were a way to make a living, these sisters taught those skills to help them to be self-sustaining while the sisters watched their children. As the community and society changed in Chicago, so did the services. We became an orphanage called St. Mary's Home for Children. As we went to adoption services to foster services, we became St. Mary's Services. And finally, as we became a reputable social service agency that provided multiple services to women, we came to change our name to Hopeful Beginnings. Today, we've added to our repertoire of services, providing adoption services with an emphasis on helping women with unplanned pregnancies. These women are definitely in crisis and are faced with the unthinkable, and mostly don't think about all three options that they have in front of them. Oftentimes, they only think of one, and that's to take it all away. Most have their back against the wall and want a quick fix to end the problem and then suffer the rest of their lives, as they might have acted too hastily to end their crisis. However, it doesn't end their problem, but rather starts guilt, depression, grief, and the thought that they can't take it back and make it better. There are two ways that we help women. First, we take calls from them 24/7 in this particular situation. The women need help now, especially when they're pregnant and they don't know what to do. We have social workers on call to talk with these women when they're at their most vulnerable. So things like, what do I do? I have nowhere to go. I can't parent. I'm in the middle of a domestic violence situation. I can't bring a baby home. And questions that only a specialist in this area can help with. We have social workers and counselors to work with our clients. We have a bilingual Spanish counselor as well as an administrative manager that speaks bilingual Filipino. We work with unplanned pregnancy on a daily basis and help with the other issues surrounding it, as unplanned pregnancy is not an isolated problem, and I know you know this. The first step is a phone call. If you are with a woman, please just don't give her our phone call, our phone number, or here's some literature to read. That phone call is so hard for them to make. If you're speaking with her, we ask that you take the time to call us with her. That speaks volume to the woman. That's saying, I trust this agency, and they provide safe, sound, and good care for you. I believe in you. How powerful is that relationship or connection? In essence, you're saying they can take you out of your darkness and you can feel right now into the light of healing. We open our arms to all women. Our number is 847-870-8181. That's 847-870-8181. I also encourage you to go to our website, freecounselingnow.com, to explore what we do and to see if you and we agree philosophically. And I will bet that we do. We absolutely apply no pressure, but rather empower our women to make their own decision. We provide them with the tools of education and empowerment to get through this particular time. One of the most favored options from years ago for an unplanned pregnancy is adoption. Today, one of the most least favored option today is adoption. So many misconceptions are being spread about adoption. People think that adoptions are all closed and that they will never see their baby again. In reality, it's actually difficult to find closed adoptions these days. Another false belief is that adoption is the same as foster care. There's an intense fear of this, as many children are placed into the foster care system and never see their parents again. People think that their children go into the system, especially if they might have been placed into foster care. So that is really very untrue. So if a newborn is diagnosed with drugs in their system, mothers can avoid their child being taken away into DCFS custody by the mom choosing or having an adoption plan. All of our adoptive families are fingerprinted, background checked, and are given a home study. The children are not moved from place to place, and adoptive families don't get paid for their services or for taking care of their children. But most of all, our adoptions are open. That means that we promote open adoption. I call it relationship adoption, so that birth mothers can see their biological child through family meetings for the rest of their lives. And at first, this is facilitated by Hopeful Beginnings. Later, when the birth mom and the adoptive family feel comfortable, they see each other regularly without fail, without us. Foster care represents loss to me, where open or relationship adoption is seeing your child forever. We provide counseling before a decision is made about adoption. During labor and delivery, in the hospital, and after adoption to address grief and loss for as long as that birth mom needs. Some adoption agencies see a birth mom up to 6 months after the adoption, and then that's it. We are a lifetime service to that birth mother for the rest of her time, and also to the adoptive family. I myself personally provided counseling to one woman for 3 years after she placed her child, and everything is beautiful, and that adoption is one of the most open that I know. So recently I've read and seen videos on agencies that lie to birth moms or force her to place for adoption if she doesn't want to. I want to stress that we put no pressure on women, no guilt on the adoptive family, nothing. As a result, we can't go around and say, oh, we have X amount of adoptions. We don't. Our numbers are small, but they're mighty. Those are the women that truly want to place their child with an adoptive family to be cared for the rest of their lives. And we're really proud of that. So none of our adoptive families want the birth mothers to be pressured. And the Board of Trustees at Hopeful Beginnings and I, as the Executive Director, will not place pressure on our counselors to make placements, as some adoption agencies do. We feel that birth moms are the most courageous women in the world. They genuinely put their baby's needs first before themselves. They're selfless and brave as they make this most difficult decision. Women who place their children, you might find interesting, are not teens. In fact, they're usually in their mid to late 20s or 30s because they know the reality of parenting. Usually, our moms have other children, so they truly understand it. It's rare to get a teen, although we take care of teens beautifully, but teens are in an idealistic phase where they're invincible and they can do anything. And we do understand that as well. We will take any and all that need counseling. We also have another option for women, and this is really important, and that's open adoption. It's never, ever too late to make an adoption plan. To us at Hopeful Beginnings, this is as important as the safe haven law, where newborns under 30 days of age are placed into a policeman's arms, to a fireman's arms at the fire station, or at a hospital. So many children have been saved from death by that law. We're involved with that safe haven law, and we're on a list as we receive safe haven children and provide them their forever home. With all the deaths of our children all over northern Illinois, such as the little boy in Crystal Lake, the small children who die at the hands of a boyfriend or an unsafe caregiver, we put together a program that can save children's lives and prevent child abuse. What that means is that the mom takes her baby home from the hospital, and there's usually a short honeymoon phase, as you would expect, and then things start to turn south. The baby can't stop crying. It's difficult to cope when you're alone. Also, another crisis comes up as like homelessness or domestic violence, or the mom just can't do it and sees that it's detrimental to her child. This situation can be seen up to age 5. Right now, the only option that a woman has is to put her child into foster care or DCFS care. Instead of having the child go into the DCFS system, a call to Hopeful Beginnings can prevent this. Intensive counseling and making a decision to adopt will place the child in permanent and a forever family situation. That family will love your child and open their hearts and doors to you as a birth mom for visitation. How can this be? All of our adoptive families must attend workshops about open adoption and the care of the birth mom. We do many biracial adoptions, and topics such as hair and skin care that's important for the self-esteem of the child is also given. Parents understand how much everything counts with birth mothers and their families. I invite you to come to one of our Christmas parties or family picnics. We open our arms to all. I urge you, as ministers and pastors, to call our agency with the woman to start the process of counseling. Counseling does not mean an automatic adoption by any means, but rather gives a woman a viable option. Another option means the freedom to choose the life that you want for your baby and themselves. If one of your women is experiencing any of these things, please call us at the same number. We're happy to send you brochures for the different programs that we provide by email. And I want to tell you, sometimes women tell us that a family member will care for her child when she can't. It needs to go legal, and it doesn't always work out. So we've provided this option for the ladies. Now, let's talk about the social service side of our agency. Oftentimes, women can have anxiety and depression both before and after a baby's born. You all know about postpartum depression and understand some of the deadly consequences from it. Again, that's why I'm talking about it today, because it can be healed through counseling and sometimes medication. When things are very serious, we work in conjunction with a psychiatrist so that a woman can work with us and get access to medication from the doctor. Again, this service is free. We'll help them get signed up for Medicaid to cover the cost of the psychiatrist and the medicine. We help them sign up for WIC, for formula and nutritional education. So many of our women have started counseling in darkness and have been healed in light to be great women and mothers. We have so many success stories where mothers have come out of their shells only to be the best mothers that we know. They come back to see us or speak with us. There are hardly any specialized prenatal and postpartum anxiety and depression free counseling in this area. Hospitals, doctors, clinics, nurses, social workers, and we'd like to see pastors and ministers refer to us. We open our doors to all and embrace them to come on into the agency or most likely come virtually. We're so happy that women are connected with faith to you. In providing holistic healing, faith and spirituality are important parts of the healing process. I worked with a young woman where confession was part of her faith. She felt that the last thing for healing to happen was confession. Some people also see confession as a part of rebirth or rebaptism. She participated in post-Easter services where everyone in the congregation was rebaptized, and she used that as a rebirth in her faith as opposed to confession. It was so meaningful to her that in our session, she cried tears of joy when telling me the story. We provide free counseling for loss of a pregnancy, which includes miscarriage, stillbirth, or post-abortion. All involve intense guilt, ongoing grief, and women oftentimes are inconsolable. How do you deal with this type of specialized grief? Research shows that yes, faith again plays a part in this, but counseling helps them process exactly what happened. We repeat and we rephrase that all of those intense feelings are normal. Every woman takes her own time in finding out that she's processed all that she needs to do. There's no set time for grief. Grief is over when it's over. Without counseling, it may continue to resurface again and again through the years. When I was a young nurse, we used to tell women that it was God's will or that the baby wasn't normal, so that the women had to keep all the anguish inside of them and unfortunately buck it up. And that's just how it was in society. One example is when grief resurfaces when not really addressed appropriately was when my husband and I had another couple over for dinner. I didn't know the couple very well. I told them what I did for a living after they asked, and the woman burst into tears, and she shared that she had twin stillbirths, and she was never allowed to talk about it process it. And she started talking about it at the dinner table. She needed it. They're so honest. She told me that she was told to put it behind her, but it affected her for the rest of her life. When I met the woman and the man, they were in their late 50s. She went on to have other children, but it didn't heal the wounds that were left by the death of her twins. They became huge supporters of ours. And you just never know the wounds that are in people's hearts, as you well know. We're all broken in a way, so we don't judge. That's the hallmark of Hopeful Beginnings. We provide non-judgmental, compassionate, and open types of counseling. Again, I welcome you to invite the women in your congregation actively going through any of the pain that I mentioned. We have counseling for women that are not quite sure of what's happening, but they are having difficulty in transitioning to motherhood. Maybe they weren't prepared for how they were going to feel. Maybe they feel conflicted with their new role, or maybe motherhood seems overwhelming. They just don't feel the joy that other mothers feel. Perhaps they may need a month or two of counseling to help them transition from their role of woman to a mother. The responsibility of keeping that little one alive and that it's all up to them is what many mothers tell us. Maybe they need to see the value of keeping a small part of themselves instead of giving everything they have as a mom. We teach them the value of self-care, such as the luxury of taking a bath all by themselves, or relaxation exercises, or taking a 20-minute break. When caring for a newborn, there is no break. Things like allowing someone to come on over to prepare dinner or watch the baby for 20 minutes while you take a short nap is so valuable. I'm sure that you've heard the following: if mama ain't happy, no one is. The mother's the captain of the ship. There's something wired in moms that she will work until she drops. We teach her to process what's inside of her. She needs a listening ear, a guiding force, and the ability to bring it all together. That's another one of our free counseling services. Case management is help with resources in the area that moms live. If they live local or not, we can look up resources for them in their particular area. It would be awesome to work together with you if you can let us know what some of the best resources that you found in your area. We also offered a tried and true teen parenting program in one of the largest high school districts in the northwest suburban area of Chicago. Yes, the school district does give us a stipend in order for us to hire additional staff to provide services to the students. However, the program is totally free to the students. When I did the program years ago in the schools, we had 132 students either pregnant or parenting in 6 schools. I'm happy to say today, with our interventions, that we have about 20 students in those same schools that we serve, and they're all graduating despite the obstacles that they face. We connect them with higher education, careers, technical services, in order for them to get a job and be a working member of the community and provide benefits to them and their child. We'd love to find another school district to help with all of the successes that our students experienced throughout the years. So where do all of you come in? Your roles are a perfect blend with ours. We believe in the same things: a holistic approach to mental health healing, embracing and breaking barriers to access mental health services is paramount to our communities. Breaking the stigma of open adoption is another challenging journey. We would love to do that together. We have tried to do this for years, offering programming for counselors, social workers, psychologists outside of our office. There's fear in talking about all 3 options in schools. It's okay to talk about 2 options, that's abortion or parenting. Those are acceptable to speak about in schools, but adoption's a bad word. You know that once you're pregnant, there are consequences that follow every option. For some reasons, abortion is very popular in schools because the pregnancy starts and stops, period, end of story. However, we know there's lasting effects. Parenting comes with its ups and downs that school personnel understand. Yes, the child had no daycare, so the student doesn't come to school. That they got. In January 22nd, 2020, these statistics were reported. The annual Illinois abortion report shows 42,441 pregnancies were terminated statewide, which was up from 39,329 in 2017. In addition, our birth rate is declining. So, we're talking about working together to help the women in your congregation. We're happy to make virtual Zoom presentations for those in your congregation that can make an impact. Part of our work is outreach in order to spread the word on what we do. Perhaps we can work together to dissolve that stigma of open adoption or mental health services. That would be glorious in that women can choose open adoption, will be accepted in various cultures, children can be born, see their birth mothers, and thrive in homes that are ready and waiting for children, still giving the birth moms the respect, love, and relationships that they so deserve. Here's our contact information again. Hopeful Beginnings, 847-870-8181. That's 847-870-8181 or freecounselingnow.com. Together, we can make a difference in women and children's lives. Please go to our website and click on information so that you can tell us what your desire is for us to communicate with you, or give us a call. We'll get back to you right away to schedule something. We're thrilled to assist you in meeting the needs of your congregation. Please help us reach your congregation to provide education and counseling to every woman who needs it. Again, we love to provide virtual educational programs and have healthy discussions with us answering questions to meet those women's needs. We hope to speak with you soon. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.